Okay, our next topic is the critical thickness of insulation. But the question is, why do we need insulations? So if you visit any process industry, you will see very huge pipes like these. So these pipes either may carry a hot fluid or a cold fluid. For example, if you are visiting a power plant, these pipes may contain steam, which are at very high temperatures. If it is a refrigeration unit, then they may contain very cold fluid. So these pipes either may carry very hot or very cold fluid. So we can say the temperature difference between the fluid inside the pipe and the temperature of air. So the temperature difference will be very high. And when the temperature differences are high, obviously there will be a huge heat loss. And to maintain these high temperatures and low temperatures, it requires lot of energy, right? So we don't want to lose this energy or this heat. So that's why we insulate these pipes. So in this image, you can see some of the insulations. So by insulation, we try to reduce the heat loss. Now the common belief is by adding insulation, the heat transfer always decreases. But contrary to common beliefs, in some instances, this heat transfer by adding insulation does not decrease. And in some circumstances, even this heat transfer increases. So when we put the insulation, the heat transfer is increasing. So why this is happening? This happens mainly in sphericals and cylinders. Wait, then why this is not happening in plain slabs? In plain slabs, the area throughout the thickness is constant, and in cylinders and spheres, the area changes with respect to radius. So to understand this, let us develop the mathematics. So first of all, let's take plain slabs. So first we are taking the case of plain slab. Okay, so we discussed that in plain slab, by putting an insulation, the heat transfer is always going to decrease, because here the heat transfer will not increase by putting the insulation. Let's see how. Let's say this is a plain slab and its thickness is L. So L is the thickness of this plain slab, and let's say Q amount of heat is getting transferred. Okay, we will not talk about Q. Let's say its thermal conductivity is K and area of cross section or area of heat transfer is A. Right? Now this will be the thermal circuit for this plain slab. So there will be R conduction due to this plain slab. Now what we will do? Let's insulate this plain slab. Okay, we will use some insulating material at the outside surface of this. And let's say there is some fluid in this side. Okay, for fluid, so this is the surrounding fluid. So let's say the convective heat transfer coefficient for this fluid is H surrounding. Right, so H surrounding is the convective heat transfer for this fluid. Now for this insulator, let's say for this insulating material, the thermal conductivity is K insulator. So we are denoting it with KINS. Right, so K insulator is the thermal conductivity of this insulating material. Now complete this thermal circuit. So there will be some conductive resistance due to this insulator also. And again there is convection between this outer surface of this insulator and this surrounding fluid. So there will be convection. Right, so this is R conduction due to insulator and there will be R convection. Now let's write down the equation for this thermal resistances. So first one is R conduction in this plain slab. So we are writing the total resistance, the total thermal resistance, and it is in series. So we can add up all of these. So what will I get? So R total or total thermal resistance will be what? First this is R conduction in plain slab. So it will be L by K into A, right? And let's say the thickness of this insulation is X, right? It is small x. So what will be the thermal resistance in this insulation? It will be X, which is the thickness of insulation, divided by K insulator multiplied by A, right? Plus there will be convection in this outer surface, so it will be 1 by H surrounding into area, right? So this is the thermal resistance in this plain slab when we have put some insulation in it, right? Now you closely analyze this, and let's say what we have to do. We have to increase the thickness of this insulation, and we have to analyze what is going to happen with heat transfer, right? So let's say I am increasing this X, I am increasing the thickness of insulation. Let's say we are putting some more insulation, the same material, we are just increasing this amount of insulation. So previously it was up to here, now I have increased the insulation. Let's say this increase in dx. So now the thickness of total insulation will become what? X plus dx, and L will remain constant because we are not doing anything with the plain slab. So in this equation, now we will put X plus dx, right? Now if you closely analyze this RT value, the total resistance value, is it going to increase or decrease when we put some extra layer of insulation? Obviously it is going to increase, right? Because this numerator, which is X plus dx, is increasing. So there is no case in which this total resistance is going to decrease. It will always increase when we increase the thickness of this insulation, right? And we know if there is more resistance, the heat transfer will be less, because we know the equation of heat transfer also. It is Q equal to delta T by summation of resistances. So if resistance is more, heat transfer will be less. So in case of plain slabs, as the resistance is always going to increase when we put some extra insulation, so there will be no case of increase in heat transfer. The heat transfer will always decrease when we increase this thickness of insulation, right? So this is the case of plain slab. Now take a note. So in case of plain slabs, there is no change in surface area, and therefore adding insulation would increase conductive resistance. But the convective resistance remains constant, and hence with the addition of insulation, the effective resistance increases, and hence the heat transfer decreases. Okay, so we have in case of plain, the heat transfer always decreases as we increase the thickness of insulation, because the surface area was constant there. So this concept, the critical thickness of insulation, has no importance in case of plain slabs, right? Now we will see cylinders. So in case of cylinders, as we know, the surface area is not constant. So it changes with change in radius, right? So let's take a surface. Let's take, there is a pipe. So it is a pipe and its radius is R1, right? Let's say some hot fluid is flowing inside this pipe and we want to put some insulation over it. So let's put some insulation. So this is the pipe. The radius is R1, the internal radius is R1, and we'll put some insulation over it. So this is the layer of insulation that we are using over this pipe. Right? And let's say the radius of this insulation is R, small r, and say this small r is variable, because we want to analyze what will happen when we increase this radius of insulation. So this r will be taken as a variable while this R1 is constant. because we are not going to change this pipe, right? So the radius for pipe will be R1, but this insulation radius can be changed, so small r is a variable. For this case, circuit. So we are not considering the convection inside this pipe, but there is convection between this outer surface and surrounding fluid. So let's say there is some surrounding fluid. So some fluid is surrounding this cylinder, right? And the convective heat transfer coefficient for this fluid, let's say it is H surrounding, right? And the thermal conductivity for this insulator, let's take it as K insulator. Okay. So now what will be the thermal circuit? So there will be conduction in this insulation. See, we are not considering the conduction in this cylinder. We can consider the layer of cylinder also, but that conduction is not going to change. Means we are just changing this radius of insulation. So there will be no change in the conductive heat transfer through this cylinder. So we are not considering that. So we have started from this insulation. So this is R conduction in insulation. And again there will be convection in the outer surface. So it will be R convection due to this surrounding fluid, right? Now what are the values of this conductive resistance and convective resistance? So this R conduction due to insulation will be what? We know the formula for conductive thermal resistance in case of cylinders, and it is ln R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi K into L. You remember that? Right. So this R conduction for insulation will be what? ln R2 by R1, where R2 is the outer radius. So what is the outer radius here? It is small r. So ln R divided by R1, which is the inner radius. So here also it is R1 itself. So ln R by R1 divided by 2 pi K into L. Let's say L is the length of this cylinder or this pipe. So it will be 2 pi K insulator will take, right, into L. So this is the conductive thermal resistance. Similarly, we can write down convective thermal resistance also. So what will be the value of convective thermal resistance? R convection. So R convection is 1 by H multiplied by A. So it will be 1 by H is H surrounding here. So H surrounding multiplied by area. Now through which area the convection is occurring here? It is occurring from this outer surface or this outer area, right? So what will be the surface area for this outer surface of insulator? See, the radius is R, and we know the surface area of cylinder is perimeter into length. So perimeter will be what? 2 pi R into L multiply 2 pi R will be the perimeter and length, so it will get the surface area. So we will get 2 pi R, which is the perimeter of this outer surface, multiplied by L, right? So this is the convective resistance. Now let's say we are increasing this radius of insulation or thickness of insulation. See, what will be the thickness of insulation? It is nothing but R minus R1. Okay, so don't confuse between thickness of insulation and radius of insulation. So let's say we are increasing the thickness of insulation, then obviously this R is going to increase, right? So let's analyze what will happen. Let's take this conductive resistance first. So because we are increasing the radius of insulation, this R will increase, and this R will increase, this total numerator value will increase, and that's why this R conduction is going to increase, right? So conductive resistance is increasing when we are putting some more insulation or we are increasing the thickness of insulation. Okay, now come to this convective resistance. here this R is in denominator and we are increasing this R, right? So when we increase this radius of insulation R, as it is in denominator, it has an inverse relationship with this convective thermal resistance. So when we will increase this R, obviously this convective thermal resistance is going to decrease. Now you see the difference. In case of plain slabs, conductive thermal resistance was increasing, but convective thermal resistance was constant. It was not changing because the surface area was same. But here, this conductive thermal resistance is increasing and convective thermal resistance is decreasing. So can you tell what will happen to the total thermal resistance? We cannot tell because one term is increasing, one term is decreasing. So total resistance may increase or decrease, right? So note, when insulation is provided on the pipe, the heat transfer may increase or decrease because if the thickness of insulation is increased, conductive resistance increases and convective resistance decreases. So the total resistance may increase or decrease depending on the thickness of insulation. Okay, so we have seen by increasing the radius of insulation, R conduction is increasing while R convection is decreasing. So R total will be what? R conduction plus R convection. So let's say there are two cases. The total thermal resistance may or increase or decrease, may either increase or decrease. So let's plot this total thermal resistance with respect to this radius of insulation. So in x-axis, let's take the radius of insulation, and in y-axis, let's take this total thermal resistance. Or let's take just thermal resistance so that we can draw this conductive thermal resistance and convective thermal resistance in both. Okay. So as this conductive thermal resistance is going to increase when we increase the radius of insulation. So how will be the graph? So it will vary like this. So this conductive thermal resistance is going to increase with increase in R, right? While the convective thermal resistance is going to decrease with increase in R. So it will vary like this, right? So this is R conduction, which is increasing with radius R, and this is R convection, which is decreasing with radius R. Now the total thermal resistance, how is the variation for this total thermal resistance? It will be like this. So at some radius, this total thermal resistance will be minimum, right? So this is the variation of this R, and let's take at some radius the total thermal resistance. So this is R total, and it is minimum at some radius, right? So if the total thermal resistance, what will happen to the heat transfer? It will be maximum, right? So let's draw the heat transfer also here. So this is the variation of heat transfer with respect to radius R. So let's take this is the radius at which resistance is minimum. So obviously at this radius the heat transfer is going to be maximum. So this will be the variation of heat transfer. So it is maximum at this radius, Q max, right? And this was R minimum. So this radius is known as critical radius of insulation, and we'll denote this by R small c. So RC is the critical radius of insulation. So it is the critical radius of insulation. And at this critical radius of insulation, so we'll denote this with small r, not capital R. And at this critical radius of insulation, the total thermal resistance is going to be minimum and the heat transfer is going to be maximum, right? So now we'll try to find out this value of RC. So how can we find out this? See, we have the equation of this total thermal resistance, right? So let's write down the equation of total thermal resistance. So it will be R total equal to R conduction plus R convection. So it will be ln R by R1 divided by 2 pi K insulator into L, right? Plus 1 by H surrounding into 2 pi R into L, correct? So this is the total thermal resistance. Now we know at a radius RC, the total thermal resistance is going to be minimum, right? So how do we calculate this maxima and minima? We know from our knowledge of mathematics, if we will differentiate this RT with respect to R and we will equate this to 0, we will get either maximum or minimum value. So here we are going to get the minimum value of resistance at the radius at which the resistance value is minimum. So we will do this, dRT divided by dR must be equal to 0. So with respect to R, we will differentiate this equation and we will equate it to 0. So when we do that, you will get an equation of this R. So after doing this, you will get H into R by K. So H is H surrounding into R by K insulator equal to 1, right? Now if you want, is it minimum or maximum, what do? We again differentiate we differentiate it twice. See, this is not important from heat transfer point of view, but I am just telling you to clear your doubts, because you may think, how can I know that it is the maximum or minimum resistance here? So to know that, we do this procedure, d square RT by dr square, and we see if it is positive, if it is coming as positive, then it will be minimum value, and if it is coming as negative, then it will be a maxima. So if you are interested, you can differentiate it and you can see this d square RT by dr square value will come as positive. So we can say at this radius, this thermal resistance value, the total thermal resistance value will be minimum. So it will be like this. So at this resistance, at this radius, the total thermal resistance value will be minimum. So this thing is not important for us. So just the formula is important. So this radius at which the thermal resistance is minimum, we have denoted this by RC, right, to avoid all the confusions. So in place of R, we will write now RC. So what will be the RC value from here? So let's write here. So RC will be, which is the critical radius of insulation, it will be K insulator by H surrounding, right? So we have arrived to an equation of RC which is equal to K insulator by H surrounding. Now take a note, the critical radius of insulation is such a radius of insulation at which the total resistance is minimum and the heat transfer is maximum. Okay, so we have got the equation of critical radius of insulation and it is equal to K insulator divided by H surrounding. So most of the questions of critical thickness of insulation you will be able to solve if you just remember this equation. See, the derivation is not important from the gate point of view, so I have not given the derivation also. If you just remember this equation in gate or even in some PSU exams like BARC, ISRO, they will ask question straightforward based on this equation. But now apart from knowing this equation, we should analyze and we should know the importance of this. So let's say we have seen the variation of heat transfer with respect to radius, the radius of insulation, and it was like this, right? So initially the heat transfer increases as we increase the radius of insulation, and it increases up to a certain point, it becomes maximum at the radius of the critical radius of insulation. So here it becomes maximum, and then again it starts decreasing to this side, right? So let's say there is a pipe of radius R1. So if you are not using insulation in this, then the heat transfer here we call it as Q bare. Because this pipe is bared, we are not using any insulation over it. So let's say that radius is this radius of pipe, the R1, and the heat transfer corresponding to this radius is this Q bare, right? Now let's say we put some insulation over it. So let's say this is the insulation that we are putting, and the radius of insulation is R, and let's say this value of R is less than RC, and let's say it is something here. Okay, so this is the R, and corresponding to R, this will be the heat transfer. So the heat transfer has increased. So it has now become Q1. Similarly, if you keep increasing this insulation of the radius of insulation up to this RC, so when you reach to this RC, let's say now you have increased this insulation, and now this value is equal to RC, the critical radius of insulation, equal to K insulator by H surrounding. So at RC, the heat transfer through this pipe will be maximum. So now it will give the maximum heat transfer, right? Now again increase the increase the radius of insulation. Let's say again you are increasing the radius of insulation to some value. Let's say it was R2. So the first we increase up to R2, and then this is R3. So now you are putting this much of insulation, right? So as this value is greater than RC, or the critical radius of insulation, let's say it falls somewhere here. So this is your R3. Now this will be your heat transfer. So it starts decreasing from this maximum heat transfer to this point, right? So we can make a valid point, that if we are dealing with current carrying wires, so wires that are carrying current. So in current carrying wires, what happens? Due to flow of electricity, and there is some electric resistance, some heat gets generated, right? And that heat must get dissipated to the surrounding. So we have to increase the rate of heat transfer in case of current carrying wires. So the Q we want to increase, right? So if you want to increase Q, let's say the current carrying wire is having radius of R1 first, right? So radius is R1, so it will be somewhere here, right? Now if you want to increase the rate of heat transfer, then up to what radius you can use the insulation? Your radius of insulation should be equal to or less than this RC, because in this region only your heat transfer is going to increase, right? If you are putting an insulation whose radius is greater than RC to a current carrying wire, it will decrease the heat transfer. So it will be higher than this, but you can get more heat transfer if you will use a radius of insulation less than or equal to RC. So take a note, in case of wires carrying current, there is a heat generation, and for current carrying wires, this heat generated must be dissipated. When insulation is used, it must be more compared to without insulation, and for this case radius of insulation must be less than critical radius of insulation, right? So this was the case when we are seeing the current carrying wires. Okay, now take the second case the pipes carrying some hot fluid. So let's say there is some pipe whose radius is R1 and it is carrying some hot fluid, let's say steam inside it. And generally these pipes are very long, the length is very high, and our requirement is we don't want to lose the energy, the available energy which this steam is having, right? So if this steam is getting transferred from one location to another, our requirement is we want the available energy to be conserved. So what is our requirement? We want to reduce the heat transfer. So in case of pipes, let's say this is a bared pipe, it is not having any insulation. So this will be the rate of heat transfer. See, I have shown this R1 and this Q is looking as very small value here, but it can be any value. So this is just a representation. Don't think the heat transfer is already very low now. So why are we using this insulation? This can be here also, right? So generally we increase this amount of heat transfer in these pipes. So this region will be not helpful for us, because if we are using a radius of insulation which is less than RC, the heat transfer is going to even increase. So if this was the heat transfer without the insulation, the heat transfer is going to increase if we are using an insulation equal to or less than this critical radius of insulation. Fine. But our requirement is we want to reduce heat transfer in this case of pipes. So you can easily tell what should be the favorable radius of insulation. It must be greater than this critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation, because in this region only we are, by increasing the radius, we can reduce the heat transfer, right? So this is the importance of this. So we can, this region we can write as, this is for current carrying wires. So current carrying wires. Because in this region Q increases. Right? So by putting the insulation in wires, we increase this amount of heat transfer. This region will be what? This we can write as steam pipes. Okay? Because here Q decreases. Fine. Now take the note for this steam pipes also. So in case of pipes carrying steam, insulation must be in such a manner that the heat transfer must be less. So the thickness of insulation in this case must be greater than the critical radius of insulation or critical thickness of insulation. So we have discussed the critical radius of insulation for cylinders. Now we will see it for spheres. So in spheres also, the surface area is not constant, because let's see here, if you are increasing this radius of insulation, again this surface area is going to increase. So here also this conductive resistance, R conduction, increases when we put the insulation, and R convection decreases when we increase the radius of insulation. So the analysis is not important. The same analysis you can do that we have done for cylinders. Here the formula of the critical radius of insulation will change. So here in case of spheres, the formula of this RC, the critical radius of insulation, in case of spheres, it is equal to 2K insulator divided by H surrounding. Right? So this is the formula of critical radius of insulation in case of spheres. All those concepts of heat transfer, how the variation of heat transfer will be, all those concepts are same. Just in place of the formula of RC, in place of K insulator by H surrounding, now you have to take 2K insulator by H surrounding. Now I will tell an important point from the exam point of view. So in exam, sometimes they will ask you to calculate the critical thickness of insulation. So they will give this K insulator and H surrounding value for cylinders or spheres. So sometimes they will ask this critical thickness of insulation, and sometimes they will ask critical radius of insulation. So you have to be very careful with these kind of questions, right? Because the equation that you are having, this is for critical radius, right? So this is for critical radius of insulation at which the heat transfer is maximum, right? But in examination, if he is asking you calculate the critical thickness of insulation, then you have to be careful. This thickness, how you will calculate this thickness? Let's say you have calculated this RC and he is asking you the critical thickness of insulation, then in that case he will give you the radius of pipe or radius of sphere. Let's say the radius of sphere was R1, right? And you are getting the critical radius of insulation as RC. Okay. So now he is asking the critical thickness of radiation. So what will be the thickness? This is thickness. So thickness will be RC minus R1. RC minus R1. Right? And this R1 is what? Radius of bare pipe. Bare means there is no insulation. So bare pipe or bare sphere. Right? So if he has given sphere, then you will use this formula. If he has given pipe, then you will use RC equal to K insulator by H surrounding. So it happened once in ISRO examination, I think 2015. So they gave two successive questions. In first question they asked about the critical radius of insulation, and in second question they asked critical thickness of insulation, and that was just this formula based, right? So be careful about this thickness and radius, because the examiner may try to deceive you based on this, right? Now we'll solve a problem on critical thickness of insulation. So he has given a refrigerator lining of 25 mm outer diameter is to be insulated using a material of thermal conductivity 2.5 watt per meter Kelvin. The surface heat transfer coefficient is 10 watt per meter square Kelvin. Verify if the insulation is effective or not. Then he is asking what should be the maximum value of thermal conductivity so as to reduce the heat transfer. So this is a very important problem. So let's see what he has given. There is a refrigerator lining and the diameter, the outer diameter is 25 mm. So say this is the refrigerator lining. It is circular in cross section, right? And its diameter is 25 mm. So what will be the radius? The outer radius will be 12.5 mm. So it is 12.5 mm. Let's say it is R1. Right? Now he is given this is to be insulated using a material of thermal conductivity 2.5. Okay, so we will insulate this refrigerator lining and the material by which we are insulating is having thermal conductivity of 2.5. So we have insulated this, and let's say the radius of this insulation is he given the radius of insulation? He is not given, right? So let's say it is R, and the thermal conductivity for this is 2.5 watt per meter Kelvin, right? Now it's saying the surface heat transfer coefficient is 10 watt per meter square Kelvin. So there is some fluid and the heat transfer coefficient for this fluid H surrounding is given as 10 watt per meter square Kelvin. right? And this is for insulator, so we will write this as K insulator is 2.5 watt per meter Kelvin. Now he is asking verify if the insulation is effective or not. So this is the first question, and secondly he is asking what should be the maximum value of K so as to reduce the heat transfer. So first we will see if the insulation is effective or not. So how can we do that? First of all, we will calculate the critical radius of insulation, which is RC. Right, so it is a cylindrical surface. So the formula for cylindrical surface, the critical radius of insulation is K insulator by H surrounding. Right, refrigerator lining means nothing but the tubes that we are having. So tubes are cylindrical coordinates only. So for cylindrical coordinates, the formula of critical radius of insulation is K insulator divided by H surrounding. So just put the values here. What is the value of K insulator? 2.5, and it is at watt per meter Kelvin, and H surrounding value is given as 10. So when you do that, you will get this RC value as 250 mm. So because this radius is given is mm, we are converting this into mm only. So you will get 0.25 meter. So you can write 250 mm. Okay, so this is the critical radius of insulation. Now what is the question? He is asking if the insulation is effective or not. For that, what we will do? Let's plot the heat transfer with respect to the radius. Okay, so then in this y-axis we will keep heat transfer, and here it is the radius of insulation. So how is the variation of this heat transfer? It is like this, right? So at critical thickness of or critical radius of insulation, the heat transfer is maximum. So if this is Q max, this radius is RC, which is equal to how much? 250 mm. So we have calculated this, and it is coming as 250 mm. And the original radius of this pipe or this lining, it is 12.5. So 12.5 will be less than 250. So let's say it is somewhere here. So this is our R1 and this is our Q bare. Q bare means when we are not using the insulation, let's say this is the amount of heat transfer and this is the radius, which is equal to 12.5. Right? So now if you will put the insulation here, what is going to happen? The heat transfer is going to increase. Right? So he is asking if the insulation is effective or not. So because the radius of pipe is less than this critical radius, if you will put the insulation, the heat transfer is going to increase. So we can say, right? So okay, take the note. As the radius of the pipe is less than the critical radius of insulation, so adding insulation would increase the heat transfer, and that's why the insulation is ineffective. Right? Okay, so we have solved this. So here the insulation is ineffective. Now coming to the next part, he is asking what should be the maximum value of K insulator so as to reduce the heat transfer. Now he is asking us that we want to reduce the heat transfer. Okay, and this K, he is saying that we can change this K insulator value. So now this K insulator, so this is the second part of question. Now this K insulator becomes unknown. Right? We have to calculate this K insulator value, and he is saying that what will be the value, what will be the maximum value of this K insulator, so that the heat transfer now starts decreasing. When the heat transfer will start decreasing, when the radius of pipe, see carefully, when the radius of pipe, if it is equal to the critical radius of insulation, then can we say the heat transfer is going to decrease when we put some more insulation? See from this diagram. So this critical radius of insulation was 250 mm, right? Now if we are keeping like this, so this is the heat transfer, this is the radius, and this is the variation of heat transfer with respect to radius. Now let's say this value is R1, which is equal to 12.5 mm, right? So this graph is shifting towards this side, right? And this line is coinciding with this line. So what we are trying to do, we are equating the radius of pipe and critical radius of insulation. So let's say this is the critical radius of insulation also, which is equal to 12.5 mm. Just think, we are taking a hypothetical case, okay? So radius of pipe we cannot change, it is 12.5 mm itself. So can we change the radius of critical thickness of insulation? Yes, we can change the critical radius of insulation, because we can change this value of K insulator. Because this RC is dependent on what? K insulator and H surrounding. Now if you can change this K insulator value, obviously this RC can change, right? And we have that liberty to change this K insulator value, because this is the unknown. This is what we have to calculate. So if we can put RC equal to R1, then analyze from this graph what is going to happen. So if your radius of insulation is equal to the radius of pipe, so this heat transfer will be equal to Q maximum also and Q bare also, right? So without using any insulation, we are getting this much of heat transfer from the pipe. Now the moment I will put the insulation, this heat transfer will start decreasing, right or not? So if the radius of insulation, the radius of pipe is equal to the critical radius of insulation, then the moment we put the insulation, the heat transfer will start decreasing. So now what can we do? So RC will take as 12.5, and then we will calculate this value of K insulator. So it will be the maximum value of K insulator for which the heat transfer will start reducing, right? So let's put in the formula. So this RC will be 12.5 and RC is K insulator. Let's say this is the second value of K insulator divided by H surrounding. So this RC will put in meter. So it will be 12.5 multiplied by 10 power minus 3 equal to this K insulator we have to calculate, and H surrounding will be same, it will be 10. So after solving this, you will get this K insulator. So this K insulator value you will get as 0.125 watt per meter Kelvin. Right? So previously this K insulator value was how much? It was 2.5. And now if you want to reduce the heat transfer, it should be 0.125, the maximum value. So this is our answer. We'll solve another problem on this critical thickness of insulation. So he has given a wire of 8 mm diameter at a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius is to be insulated by a material having thermal conductivity 0.174 watt per meter Kelvin. So heat transfer coefficient on outside surface is given as 8 watt per meter square Kelvin and the ambient temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Then it's saying for maximum heat loss, what is the thickness of insulation and heat loss per meter length? And find the percentage increase in heat transfer due to insulation and also calculate the increase in current carrying capacity due to insulation. So again, this is a very important problem. So apart from asking the percentage increase in heat transfer, he is asking the percentage increase in the current carrying capacity also. So let's do this problem. So he has given the wire is of 8 mm diameter. So it is a current carrying wire and diameter is given as 8 mm. So what will be the radius? 4 mm. So let's take the radius as R1. So it is given as 4 mm. Right? Now it's saying this wire is at a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. So temperature of this surface of this wire is 60 degrees Celsius and it is to be insulated by a material having thermal conductivity 0.174. So let's insulate this wire. So we are using a material to insulate this wire which is having the K insulator value as 0.174. Obviously the unit is watt per meter Kelvin. And heat transfer coefficient on outside. So there is some outside fluid. So there is some surrounding fluid to this wire and the heat transfer coefficient for that fluid is given as 8 watt per meter square Kelvin. So we will write this as H surrounding, which is the heat transfer coefficient for this fluid, and it is given as 8 watt per meter square Kelvin. Now he is saying the ambient temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. So this temperature of ambient air or ambient fluid, it is, let's say T surrounding is 25 degrees Celsius. Now he is asking for maximum heat loss. What is the thickness of insulation and heat loss per unit length? So we know when is the heat loss maximum? When the thickness of insulation or radius of insulation is equal to the critical radius of insulation, the heat transfer is maximum. So we have to calculate the critical radius of insulation and that thickness he is asking about at which the heat transfer will be maximum. So first we will calculate the critical radius of insulation, then we will find out the critical thickness of insulation and that will be first answer, right? So let's do one by one. So let's calculate this thickness of insulation first. So this is first problem, we have to find out the TC, which is the critical thickness of insulation. But we have the formula for what? Critical radius of insulation, right? And it is a wire, so it is a cylindrical coordinate. So this RC value will be what? It will be K insulator divided by H surrounding, right? And values of K insulator and H surrounding are already given. So let's calculate this. So this will become 0.174 divided by 8. Correct? 8 is the H surrounding value and 0.174 is the K insulator value. So when you calculate this, you will get this RC as 21.75 mm. Right? But he is asking the critical thickness of insulation or the thickness of insulation at which the heat loss is maximum. So what will be the value of this TC? So I have told you how to calculate this thickness of insulation and it will be equal to RC minus R1. So if RC is 21.75, R1 is given as 4. So it will be how much? 21.75 minus 4. So we will get as 17.75. Correct? It is in mm. So the value here you will get, that will be in meter. So multiply with 1000 and you will get it in mm. So this is the first answer. The critical thickness of insulation, or the thickness at which the heat loss is maximum. Right? Now second thing he is asking, the heat loss itself. So how much is the heat loss when you are using this insulation? So let's calculate this. So the next thing is heat transfer when you are using the insulation. So it will be with insulation. Right? So this is our second question. So how can we calculate this heat transfer with insulation? See, we will draw the thermal circuit of this. So what will we get? See, there is no convection, this is a solid wire. So first we will take this 60 degrees Celsius. So from this 60 degrees Celsius to, let's say this temperature is T, the outer surface temperature of this, the insulation. So from this 60 to T, there will be what? There will be conduction in this insulator. So R conduction due to this insulator. Correct or not? Now from T to this 25 degrees Celsius. So from this T temperature to this 25 degrees Celsius, there will be convection in this surrounding fluid. Right? So this is 25 degrees Celsius and there will be R convection in this surrounding fluid. Correct? Now we know the equation of heat transfer will be that overall temperature difference, delta T, will be what? 60 minus 25 divided by, so we are taking temperature difference from 60 to 25, so we will take all the thermal resistances here, right? So it will be R conduction for insulation will be what? It will be ln R2 by R1. So what is the value of this R2? See, now we are considering the maximum heat loss we are calculating, right, with insulation. So we will take the radius of insulation as this critical radius of insulation, right, because he is asking to calculate this maximum heat loss when you are using this insulation. So it will be ln RC by R1. So what is the value of RC? It is 21.75. Don't take this value. This is TC, right? This is the thickness, while we have to take the radius here. So it will be 21.75 divided by, what is R1? This is 4 mm. So because it is a ratio, we can take both quantities in mm. It will get cancelled out. Divided by 2 pi K into L. So K will be K insulator, which is given as 0.174 into length. He said to calculate in per meter length, so it will be 1. Correct? Plus there will be convection due to this fluid, so it will be 1 by H into A. H surrounding is given as 8 into 2 pi. So the area of heat transfer will be what? 2 pi RC into L, right? Because we are the convection is occurring from this outer surface, so it will be 2 pi RC. So what is the value of this RC? It is 21.75 mm, but here you have to take it this meter. So 21.75 into 10 power minus 3 to convert this value in meter multiplied by length is per unit length. Right? So from here we will get the heat transfer. So this is heat transfer with insulation, and which is, you will get this value as 14.2, and what will be the unit? We have calculated this in per meter length, so it will be watt per meter. Correct? So we have got the second answer. Okay, so next what he is asking? He is asking to find the percentage increase in heat transfer due to insulation. So what is the percentage change in heat transfer when we put this insulation? So we know the heat transfer value when we have kept the insulation, or when the heat transfer with insulation is 14.2. But we want to calculate the percentage change. So we have to calculate the heat transfer without insulation also, right? So when there was no insulation, then what was the heat transfer? So let's calculate that. So let's take, this is the wire. It was at 4 mm radius. It was at temperature of 60 degrees Celsius, and there was some fluid. The convective heat transfer coefficient for that fluid is how much? It will remain same only. So it will be 8, and temperature of surrounding is 25. Right? So as there is no insulation, there will be just the convection with respect to with the surrounding fluid. Right? So how can we find out this? So let's take Q without insulation. Right, so it will be equal to 60 minus 25 divided by resistance. So let's draw a thermal circuit for this. So we will not consider the conduction inside this cylinder, because the temperature that we have given is itself the surface temperature of this wire, right? So we will start from this 60 degrees Celsius. So this is 60 degrees Celsius. Then there is a convective thermal resistance. So there is just one thermal resistance, that is due to convection in this external fluid, right? So from 60 to 25 there is a convective thermal resistance. And what will be the value of this convective thermal resistance? It will be 1 by H into A. Okay, so let's put it here. So 1 by H surrounding is 8 multiplied by, what will be the area? Now this heat transfer will occur from the outer surface of this wire itself. Now there is no insulation, so we will not consider this area of insulation. There is no insulation, so we will take the outer surface of this wire. So what will be this area? The surface area will be 2 pi into R. So R will be for wire, the radius of wire, which is 4 mm. So 4 into 10 power minus 3 multiplied by length is 1. Fine. Now just calculate this value and you will get it as 7.03. So Q without the insulation we are getting as 7.03 watt per meter. Right? So we have calculated this Q without insulation. Okay, but now what he is asking? He is asking us to calculate the percentage change in heat transfer or percentage increase in heat transfer due to insulation. So obviously due to insulation, heat transfer has increased. When there is no insulation, the heat transfer is 7.03 watt per meter. But when we are using insulation, the heat transfer is coming as 14.2 watt per meter. So he is asking to calculate the percentage increase in heat transfer due to this insulation, right? So let's do that. Okay, so now we have to calculate the percentage increase in the heat transfer. So how can we calculate this percentage change or percentage increase? So we'll do Q without heat transfer, Q with heat transfer minus Q without heat transfer divided by Q without heat transfer, right? So let's say it is Q1, which is Q without heat transfer, and let's say it is Q2, right? So to avoid this with and without, you are writing this as Q1 and this as Q2. So what will be the percentage change? It will be Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 into 100. Correct? Now just put the values and get the answer. So Q2 is how much? it is 14.2 minus Q1 is how much? It is 7.03 divided by Q1, which is 7.03 multiplied by 100. So when you solve this, you will get this answer as 101.99. So the percentage increase, because we are getting a positive value, so it is increase. So percentage increase is equal to 101.99%. Right? So this is our third answer. So this was the third part. And we have got the percentage increase in heat transfer as 101.99%. So this much percentage of heat is increased due to using of insulation. Now next thing he is asking is, also calculate the increase in current carrying capacity due to insulation. Now this is very important, the current carrying capacity. So from knowledge of physics, we know Q is equal to I square R, right? This is the equation for heat transfer, and the unit of this rate of heat transfer will be what? It will be watt, right? Or we have also seen this equation also, Q equal to V into I. In this form also we can calculate. So if there is a conductor and some current I is flowing inside it, right, and resistance, the electrical resistance in this conductor is R, then the heat transfer, the heat generated will be how much? I square into R, and the unit will be watt. Okay, and this formula is also valid, V into I. So when you use the Ohm's law, V equal to IR, this equation will reduce into this equation, I square R. So we will use this equation to find out the percentage change in current carrying capacity. See, because this is a wire, and in wire the heat gets generated due to this electrical resistance, and we want to reduce as much amount of heat so that the peak temperature of this wire will be kept to the minimum, right? And when the heat transfer will be maximum, or there will be more heat transfer, the current carrying capacity of this wire will increase. So in this question, what we are doing, by insulating we have increased the heat transfer. So now we want to calculate the increase in the current carrying capacity also, right? So we'll use this equation, Q equal to I square into R. So let's say this is Q1 without using the insulation. So Q1 will become I1 square into R. See, the resistance will be constant because it will be the property of that material, right? So this R is constant. So Q1 will be equal to I1 square into R, and Q2 will be equal to how much? I2 square into R. Correct? Now take the ratio of this. So Q1 by Q2 will be what? So this is, let's say, equation 1, this is 2. So when we do 1 divided by 2, we are taking the ratio of equation 1 and 2. So what do we get? Q1 by Q2 will be equal to I1 by I2 whole square, right? So from here we can calculate the ratio of I1 by I2. So let's remove this first. Okay, so now we will calculate this ratio of I1 and I2. So we can write this I1 divided by I2 will be Q1 by Q2 and under root of this, right? So we know the values of this Q1 and Q2. So it will be under root, Q1 is 7.03 and Q2 is how much? It is 14.2. Okay, so I1 by I2, you will get this as 0.703. Okay. Now we will calculate the percentage change in current or percentage increase or decrease, we will see. So percentage change will be I2 minus I1 divided by I1, right, multiplied by 100, because we want to get this in percentage. So this can be written as I2 by I1 minus 1 into 100, correct or not? So we have just divided this I2 by I1 with I1, right? So I2 by I1 will be minus 1 multiplied by 100 will be the percentage change. Now we know the value of this I1 by I2, so just take the inverse ratio, so it will be 1 by 0.703 will be the ratio of I2 by I1 minus 1 into 100, and calculate this and you will get it as 42.12%. So this percentage change is 42.12%. Okay, and this is positive, so it is increase in current carrying capacity. So 42.12% increase. Right, so this is the last answer. So we can see by putting the insulation, we can increase the current carrying capacity to 42.12%, right?